We're here at Brisbane Road for the North London derby in the WSL. I have to say, a slight shame. I think WSL football didn't really do their homework and check whether the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was available this weekend. It's not because of the boxing. However, we're still here at Brisbane Road for Tottenham versus Arsenal in the WSL. And I think it goes without saying it's another key game for Arsenal. I think Arsenal are in a position in the WSL now where there's not a lot of room for error. I mean, particularly if you consider them part of the title race still. However, Manchester United have now lost their last two games. So if you consider Arsenal to be chasing for Champions League qualification, I think that's very, very relevant. And Arsenal have a chance to go back into the top three this afternoon with a home game against Manchester United to come. So how you regard this game really depends on where you think Arsenal actually are in the table and what their aspirations are. But I think it's also fair to say that the Wednesday night defeat in Munich was a real low point for the season, and probably the low point of Rene Slager's reign so far, where Arsenal was so dominant, so good in the first half. Munich couldn't keep up with Arsenal's intensity, and Arsenal frankly threw it away in the last 25 minutes. And it hasn't been the greatest season so far, and I think that really turned a lot of people, caused people, there were already questions, but I think some people's patience has snapped. And obviously a North London derby, even in isolation, is a must-win game. But it does at least give Arsenal a chance to get some good feeling here today with a victory. They are level on points with Tottenham in the league, which probably illustrates two things. Tottenham have started pretty well under new manager Martin Ho, and Arsenal haven't been at the level so far this season. But I think if they win this game, they can probably leave Tottenham in the rearview mirror and really start to focus on climbing up the league. So we're underway here in the North London derby, just one change from Arsenal, slightly different media experience here today, sat in an empty stand behind one of the goals. Fair play to Tottenham for getting as many of this as in as possible, but loads and loads of Arsenal fans here. Feels, as you can probably hear in the background, a bit more like a home game. Chelsea have dropped points against Liverpool. Let's see how Arsenal fare here. Still 0-0 at Brisbane Road, and the kind of game you'd expect really. Spurs very, very good transitional team. They play out from the back a lot. No one in the WSL takes more touches in their own defensive third than Tottenham, because they want to invite pressure and they want to go in behind. And they've created a few dangerous situations doing that as well. A player like Jessica Naz, very, very dangerous in behind. Still don't think Arsenal look that secure with their midfield double pivot. Spurs, once they get to the edge of the Arsenal area, look a bit dangerous to me, but it's a bit cat and mouse here, but still 0-0. So half-time here at Brisbane Road, it's Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0. I've snuck inside because we're in an empty stand and it's freezing cold. Anyway, no one cares about that. A bit of a so-so half from Arsenal, really. We know what Tottenham are going to try and do. We know that they're going to try and be transitional and chunk the game up a little bit and then go in behind. They really focus on passing out from the back, Spurs, and that's because they want to attract opponents onto them and quickly go in behind them. And we know Arsenal have had some trouble when teams go in behind them recently. At the same time, Tottenham very solid in a kind of mid-low block when Arsenal do get the ball. We've had a couple of sights of goal. Kyra Cooney-Cross shooting just wide from the edge of the box. Russo just wide. Stina Blackstenius forcing a save from Lisa Kopp. But I think really I'd like to see Arsenal just quicken things up a bit, particularly when Tottenham attack. They do commit numbers when they do go forward. I think the opportunity is there to counter them, particularly with Stina Blackstenius in behind. But I think we're just seeing a few too many touches, a little bit of hesitation, and just allowing Tottenham to get back into their shape. And I'd just like to see Arsenal quicken things up in the second half and really assert themselves on this game. 0-0 half-time. So we're underway in the second half. Arsenal have made a double substitution. Half-time, Taylor Hines coming on for Katie McCabe and Olivia Smith coming on for Beth Mead. Not too surprised to see that. Katie got a booking in the first half. And as well, I think Arsenal have just, like I said at half-time, just lacked a little bit of speed, lacked a little bit of intent. And Olivia Smith hopefully is the sort of player that can provide that as well. So double substitution for Arsenal at half-time, 0-0. Big half for Arsenal here. So we're halfway through the second half here, still 0-0. Olivia Smith making a massive difference for Arsenal on the right-hand side. I watched Tottenham play against London City Lionesses last weekend, and it's Freya Godfrey playing on the right for LCL. She came out with a couple of goals and an assist, clearly an area where Tottenham aren't as defensively sound, and Arsenal have targeted it in this second half. And Olivia Smith, with her pace in behind, has been a real game changer for Arsenal. She's set up a couple of big chances, had a shot herself. Arsenal knocking at the door, but still 0-0.
There's full time here in Derby, score Tottenham Hotspur 0, Arsenal 0.
So it finished at Brisbane Road, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Arsenal 0. Again, not a fantastic performance from Arsenal. I think if I was looking at it objectively, I'd say they deserved to win 1-0. They created some chances in the second half. Olivia Smith made a big difference. I watched Spurs play against London City Lionesses last week, and Freya Godfrey played on the right-hand side and tore them apart. And once Olivia Smith came on, it was clear that Arsenal were looking to get in behind, and she created massive opportunity for Stina Blackstenius, which really should have gone in. Had a shot herself. There was a shot from Frida Mornham. So there were chances, but there weren't loads and loads of chances, because most chances in football are missed. And what happens when you're not creating a lot is you really focus in on those 2 or 3 chances. So like I say, this felt like a 1-0 to Arsenal game to me, but that didn't really happen. I did feel as well in the last 10 minutes there was some panic, there was some sloppiness, there was some sloppy passes, and I think you could feel that things just aren't clicking at the moment for Arsenal. And I spoke to Renee Slagers afterwards, and I asked her if this felt like a tricky period, and she said yes, of course it is, but she feels there are enough periods in games, the first half against Bayern, the second half against Chelsea, that they feel they can build on, but they're just not doing it consistently enough, and they want to get better quality shots, and that's something they need to do, because to be frank, this is a funk that's gone on for a couple of months now, and Arsenal are really going to have to pull something out of the hat. With Chelsea drawing today, a win would have put them back in the title race. I think that's them out now. I don't think they look like they're performing well enough to put together the kind of run required. And I think, again, the focus has to be on Champions League qualification, which is a difficult thing to admit in November yet again. But we are where we are.